across Nigeria, from the broad muddy Niger to the narrow creeks of the Delta, from the lagoon at Lagos Island to the tiny streams hidden under forest shade. Water holds stories. Water keeps secrets. Water remembers. Our grandfathers sat by those waters and told stories. Our mothers hummed to them as they watched. Our fishermen read the surface like books. And in the spaces between the waves and the shoreline, something else listened back. She is known by many names. To some, she is the mother of rivers. To others, she is a dangerous lover. To some, she is the reason for sudden wealth. To others, a cause for terrible loss. Her name is Mami Water. To know the story of Mami Water, we must first understand the people who first told her story. Nigeria is not one river, but many. The Niger makes like a living spine through the land. The Cross River rushes and spills where the forest meets the sea. The lagoons of the coast stretch quiet and wide. Communities built their lives around these waters. The Ijaw, the Itsekiri, the Efik, the Igbo, riverine people whose names are older than maps, understood water as both life-giver and judge. For them, water fed fields and carried goods, but it also punished those who disrespected its rules. Long before colonial maps labeled territories, people told stories of the water woman. In different tongues, she had different faces. In Igbo lands, she was sometimes called Muonoye Miri, the spirit woman of the waters. In Yoruba areas, she was linked to Yemoja, mother of the waters, a gentle protector and fierce mother. In the creeks of the Delta and the fishing towns of the south, the name that spread by 1,000 lips was Mami Water, a phrase borrowed and shaped by traders, sailors, and storytellers. When European traders first arrived on our shores, they recorded what they saw and what they were told. Their notebooks are stained with ink and prejudice. But they do show one truth. The story of a water woman was everywhere. She was as much a part of coastal life as the dye. Some scholars suggest that Mami Water's image, part human, part fish, blended with older West African river spirits and the mermaid myths brought by sailors. Others say the figure came from deeper roots, an expression of how people tried to explain sudden loss, mysterious wealth, and the danger of deep water. But what matters most is what the people said, that the water was alive, that it had a face, that it could be kind and cruel. And so the tales grew, like vines along a riverbank, each village adding its own leaves and thorns. If you ask 10 people along the coast for a description of Mami Water, you will get 10 different images, and each one will be given with certainty. In some stories, she is a mermaid, a woman with a shining tail like a fish, scales that flash silver in sunlight, and hair that flows like river weed. In other accounts, she appears as a woman fully human, long glossy hair, skin that sometimes glows pale like moonlight, often dressed in white or sea blue, with precious necklaces and bracelets that rattle softly as she moves. Many say she combs her hair on the riverbank with a golden comb. Others insist she wears coral jewelry and carries a comb that is a talisman. To some, she is fair-skinned, to others, she is dark. And the differences only remind us that the picture is less about color and more about power. Symbols matter. Hair is strength. Jewelry is mastery over wealth. White cloth reads as both purity and danger. A comb is a tool of vanity and care. And in a culture where hair is a record of identity, this becomes deep meaning. When people say she combs her hair, they are not describing only an image. They are telling us she is attentive to human beauty and to the human heart. And her eyes? People say they look like two moons reflected on a river. When she smiles, those in the stories feel like the world is warmed and then chilled all at once. When she stares, men forget the way home. When she swims beneath the surface, the water turns silver, and sometimes, listeners say, a chorus of faint singing rises from under the waves. Perhaps the most important thing about her look is that she is always both near and far, familiar enough to be desired, strange enough to be feared.
Stories about Mami Water are often stories about choice and change. The popular tales say she chooses whom she will call. The fishermen nod when they tell these stories. The traders warn their sons. One common tale goes like this. A young fisherman is out at dusk, the water glassy like glass. He hums under his breath, then he hears a voice, not loud, but layered like wind through a net. A woman appears on a sandbar, combing her hair. She looks at him, smiles, and calls his name. He is frozen, mesmerized. His net slips from his hand. He follows her voice and wakes hours later on shore, pockets full of fish that are not there when the sun fully rises. When he returns home, he is quieter. He begins to spend more time near water, less time with friends. In other tales, Mami Water meets men in town, in a market or on a road. She appears as a beautiful stranger. She speaks in a voice that sounds like a bell, and for a time she walks among them. Later, the man is found to be successful beyond reason. A business booms, a fight is won, a name becomes known. But behind success is always a bargain. The stories for women are different and often more complicated. Some say Mami Water calls them in dreams. A dream of water, a rocky palace beneath the waves, a hand stretching out. The woman would dream for many nights, and then she will start to feel an urge to bathe in the river at dawn, to gather shells, to wear blue more often. Families notice the change. Husbands worry. Children feel the grown-up drifting away like fog. In many towns, parents teach their children how to resist or protect themselves. Mothers sew small charms into cloth. Priests instruct families to avoid certain places at night. Women may wear red beads or tie red cloth to their wrists to show the water that they are not for taking. Fishermen will leave a portion of their catch as a gift. In some communities, a small daily offering of palm oil and broken kola is left at the edge of the water to keep the spirit appeased. These rituals tell us two things: that Mami Water is a presence to be negotiated with, and that water itself is a power to be respected. The rituals protect, yes, but they also form social rules. Do not go into deep water at night. Do not take without giving back. Do not disrespect those who keep the river. Most tales of Mami Water are tales of exchange. She offers gifts, sudden wealth, charm, a soft voice that commands a room. For a poor trader, she might open a line of customers. For a young woman, she might grant beauty that draws suitors and attention. For a fisherman, she might guide a net to a rich shoal. But the price is never trivial. In one common recitation, the deal is simple. Accept and remember. Keep your promise. Do not bring another spirit into the bargain. Do not speak ill of the water. Keep the offerings coming. Show respect. Keep secrets. And if you fail, the stories become darker. The gift turns into weight. Wealth fades. Fame sputters. The person may become ill. Some tales say the spirit takes the ability to bear children. Others say she takes memory. The worth versions claim she will take the person into the water, leaving only clothing on the shore. These stories are warning signs. They are oral law written in drama. They teach caution toward quick success and teach respect for natural limits. They bind communities by a common set of beliefs that sudden gains may come at a cost, that disrespect to tradition and to nature has consequences. There are also stories of those who navigate the bargain successfully. A village elder tells of a man who accepted Mami Water's attention but who remained loyal to his family. He paid nightly offerings, he kept practices, and he used the blessings to help his entire town, building a well, supporting the school. In those versions, Mami Water was not only a tempter but a partner. She rewarded those who honored their side of the bargain and punished only those who betrayed the trust. These variations show the moral complexity in the legend. Mami Water is not purely evil. She is not merely a fairy tale monster. She is a force that reflects human choices and a mirror of social values. Stories of real sightings circulate like tides, appearing and receding. Let me tell a few that people still speak about. In the 1940s, in a small Delta town, an unusual event drew people from miles around. The story, told by old men with pipe smoke and slow smiles, describes a figure on the water at dawn, a woman combing her hair on a sandbar. Her hair shone like oil. The comb was bright as brass. Onlookers were so enthralled that they approached the shore. A boatman rowed closer. The figure looked up, smiled, and then slipped into the water. A hush fell over the crowd. For weeks, the town whispered that fish were more plentiful that year, and also that headaches and strange dreams had become common. In Lagos, fishermen in the lagoon have long told of hearing soft singing at night, a melody they say is not for human ears. Some describe seeing lights under the water, like lamps in an underwater compound. On nights when the moon is thin, a few claim to have seen a woman sitting on a wooden post, combing her hair and humming.
In Igbo towns, more elaborate stories exist of people being taken to a palace beneath the water. These tales are rich with color, golden halls, broad staircases of pearl, servants with fish-like faces, and a queen who watches over everything. The person taken to this palace is respectful, served, and offered wealth, but is also reminded that returning to the land will change them. They might come back with knowledge of herbs, or become unable to conceive, or speak in strange tongues. Families debate whether such returns are blessings or curses. In the Niger Delta and Oron areas, there are chilling tales of fishermen who simply never return. A boat found adrift, a net full of seaweed, and footprints leading to nowhere. These stories are the darkest part of the tradition and are often told to keep children away from the water at night. Now, a calm voice here. Not every story claims supernatural cause. Some events might be explained by weather, by currents, by illness, but the legend persists because it explains what logic sometimes cannot. It gives shape to losses and to extraordinary good fortune. It explains how treasure might appear suddenly and why no one should forget to give back. What does Mami Water mean for the people who tell her story? For some, she is spiritual truth. For others, a useful fiction. For many, she is a symbol. Control and uncertainty. Fisher folk live with uncertainty every day. The catch is never guaranteed. A spirit story creates a framework. There are reasons for luck and loss beyond chance. Offerings give people agency. Rituals create comfort when the world is unpredictable. Second, gender and power. Many stories portray Mami Water as a woman who has power over men and sometimes over families. This flips the usual social power dynamics and becomes a way of expressing fears about sexual danger and unaccountable feminine power. For men who follow the spirit, the story is a lesson about fidelity. For women who feel called, the tales reflect complex tensions, autonomy versus family expectations, desire versus duty. Third, cultural continuity. In a nation of many languages and rapid change, the Mami Water story is an anchor. It ties modern people to their ancestors. It is told late at night, under mosquito lights, in markets and at naming ceremonies. The words and images change, but the story is passed from one generation to the next. And finally, moral education. The tale holds warnings against greed, selfishness, and disrespect for the environment. It encourages reciprocity. You take, you must give. Many elders say the legend's deeper lesson is balance. How to live well with the natural world that sustains you.
Even now, in bustling markets, on radio stations, in pop music and Nollywood, Mami Water appears. She has been reimagined by artists and musicians, sometimes celebrated, sometimes feared. In music, references to Mami Water may be metaphors for irresistible charm or dangerous love. In fashion, designers use her image, flowing fabrics, blue palettes, and jewelry to evoke beauty and mystery. Nollywood films will spin new versions of the tale, thrillers with modern settings, romantic tragedies with a supernatural twist, or social dramas that use the legend as commentary about greed and corruption. Museums and galleries show artifacts, carvings, and brass work linked to water deities. Some modern writers retell the myths with a new sensibility, centering female perspectives or pairing the old stories with contemporary concerns like environmental harm. This modern presence proves the tale's adaptability. Mami Water moves, like water itself, into new spaces while keeping the essence of the story intact. Mami Water is not alone. All over the world, people tell of spirits that live in water. In Europe, mermaids and sirens lure sailors. In Japan, the kappa is a water creature with a hollow on its head. In the Caribbean, stories of river spirits echo the African past. But the African versions have unique flavors. They are woven into the everyday. They are not distant fairy tale creatures. They are neighbors, relatives of the land. Mami Water shares threads with Yemoja of the Yoruba, Oshun of the Yoruba and elsewhere, and with similar oceanic mothers in the African diaspora. Even now, in bustling markets, on radio stations, in pop music and Nollywood, Mami Water appears. She has been reimagined by artists and musicians, sometimes celebrated, sometimes feared. In music, references to Mami Water may be metaphors for irresistible charm or dangerous love. In fashion, designers use her image, flowing fabrics, blue palettes, and jewelry to evoke beauty and mystery. Nollywood films will spin new versions of the tale, thrillers with modern settings, romantic tragedies with a supernatural twist, or social dramas that use the legend as commentary about greed and corruption. Museums and galleries show artifacts, carvings, and brass work linked to water deities. Some modern writers retell the myths with a new sensibility, centering female perspectives or pairing the old stories with contemporary concerns like environmental harm. This modern presence proves the tale's adaptability. Mami Water moves, like water itself, into new spaces while keeping the essence of the story intact. Mami Water is not alone. All over the world, people tell of spirits that live in water. In Europe, mermaids and sirens lure sailors. In Japan,
The kappa is a water creature with a hollow on its head. In the Caribbean, stories of river spirits echo the African past. But the African versions have unique flavors. They are woven into the everyday. They are not distant fairy tale creatures. They are neighbors, relatives of the land. Mami Water shares threads with Yemoja of the Yoruba, Oshun of the Yoruba and elsewhere, and with similar oceanic mothers in the African diaspora. These similarities remind us of human commonality, how water, necessary and terrifying, becomes a place to imagine the sacred. Let us be honest, not every phenomenon needs its spirit to be explained. Strong currents, whirlpools, tides, hypothermia, and night confusion have taken lives and created strange experiences. Certain fish and sea creatures reflect light in ways that appear otherworldly. Sound can travel oddly over water, creating harmonics that seem like singing. Psychology offers other ideas. Dreams and grief can shape perception. If a community expects to see unusual things, they are more likely to interpret ambiguous sights as supernatural. Collective belief can make an ordinary event feel sacred. And yet, to explain a story away is to miss its power. The Mami Water legend does not only explain phenomena, it holds memory, moral instruction, and identity. It does for the heart what physics does for the tide. I spoke with elders, both in towns by the water and in cities far from the shore. I listened to stories, some tender, some terrifying. Here are a few that have stayed with me. An old woman in a Delta village, her voice thin as a reed, told me about her sister. The sister had been beautiful and proud. One evening, after a funeral, she walked alone to the creek to wash. The women said later that she came back different, quieter, eyes deeper, and with a small mark by her wrist. She began to dress better, and her husband's debts vanished. But she never bore children. The family guessed and then accepted that the sister had been claimed in part by the water. A fisherman in Lagos, who had weathered both storms and city politics, told me of a night when the lagoon lit up like a lamp. He and his mates heard a voice singing in a language they did not know. And in the morning the men found several fish with strange bright scales. They sold the fish, paid their debts, and withheld a portion, a small offering, at the edge of the water for many months after. A young woman from a town in Igbo country told of dreams, a palace of blue, a woman who offered her work and music. The woman followed the dream and learned herbal knowledge that later healed many in her village. She believed the water had given a gift that changed the life of the whole community. Do I know whether these events are supernatural? No. But what I do know is this: the stories changed people. They shaped decisions, marriages, and livelihoods. They moved families to act differently. That is a form of reality that does not depend on microscopes or charts. There is a practical lesson buried in so much of this tale. Respect your environment. Rivers are not garbage dumps. Lagoons are not endless. When a people teach their children not to throw refuse into water or to take only what is needed, they are embedding ecological wisdom in myth. Mami Water stories remind people that water is finite and powerful. They encourage sustainable practice by tying spiritual consequence to environmental disrespect. In this way, the legend contributes to survival. It also teaches social values, generosity, caution, and humility. Too often, modern life encourages immediate gain. The legend pushes in another direction. Think long-term, give back, respect tradition. In many places, old ceremonies are still held. Priests and priestesses perform rites by the water. Offerings of palm oil, broken kola, salt, and small coins are placed at the water's edge. In other communities, Christianity and Islam have reinterpreted the stories. sometimes integrating the legends into moral sermons, sometimes rejecting them. Yet these stories adapt. In some towns, modern leaders use the legend in public health campaigns. Do not throw refuse into the river, for the water will be angry, they say. It is a clever local way to connect ancient belief with modern policy. And among the youth, the legend lives too, in fashion, in hashtags, in music videos. Mami Water is no longer only spoken of in whispered tones beside the fire. She's on stage, in studio, and in the minds of a new generation. So who truly is Mami Water? Is she goddess, mermaid, dream, metaphor, or all of those things? Perhaps the better question is, what do our stories about her say about us? They say we are a people who listen to the world. We hear the river. We name its powers. We teach our children both awe and caution. We create ritual to make the unpredictable feel manageable. We invent beings to hold grief, to explain strange fortune, to keep us humble. Mami Water is, in the deeper sense, a story of relationship. How we relate to nature, to each other, and to the unknown. She reminds us that some forces can make life better and worse, and that every gift may demand something in return. If you grew up hearing the tale, you might feel the same chill I do now when the wind blows over a lagoon. If you did not, maybe this story has given you a new way to think about water and the old ways. Thank you for walking to the water's edge with me tonight. If you enjoyed this journey into our past and the strange living stories of our nation, please like, subscribe, and share. Tell me in the comments, what story should we dive into next? What spirit should we meet? What forgotten history should we bring to light? Until next time, keep your feet on safe ground, keep an offering for the water if you visit the shore, and remember, some stories are not only told so they are remembered, they are told so we know how to live. You've been listening to Roots NG. Thank you for joining us. Stay curious, stay connected, and good night.